And here we are, getting after it. That's what we call this. School's back in session. Today is Monday, September 16, day of our Lord, allegedly 2019. Your Golden Gophers had a big win over a cupcake team, so I'm sure everybody's in high spirits. We're about 2 weeks into University of Minnesota education. Can't thank everybody enough for your continued support with this channel, with Flat Earth, however it is that you deliver and offer this message to the young folk that the earth is flat. It is early in the day. We will be here for a couple of hours. Hit that like, hit the dislike, comment, share your opinion, voice your message, however and whatever that may be. If you really want to make an impact, I'd suggest hanging out at a university. Can really do so much with social media. You'll get ghosted, shadow banned, comments deleted, echo chambers, and you can't get, oh, hi. So NASA, huh? How did they get through the Van Allen belt? Do you happen to know? To the moon? How'd that happen? You wear a NASA shirt, you're gonna get targeted. Have a nice day. So, this is the echo chamber of all of them, right here at your public institute of indoctrination. Go Pack! Vikings lost yesterday against your Green Bay Packers. I hope to hit up the Vikings game for the Packers later on this year. Smiles, smirks, rolling of the eyes. Smirks, laughter. You know, this is coming from people who already themselves have alternative views. And they laugh and mock me. Which is fascinating. Right? She's over there taking notes, looking up flat earth stuff. Trying to figure out how NASA got through the Van Allen belt to go land on the moon. Always hoping for good conversations, some good friction, challenging, uplifting dialogue with these young folk. But you never know. She's up to something. I think she's waiting for somebody to talk to me so then she can chime in. She just doesn't have courage to talk to me on her own. And there she goes. Have a nice day. So this is what we got set up today. Right next to your full garbage, which nobody cares to alleviate the pressure. So that's what people see as they walk by. And then we have our signage here on the clipboard. Rosie! Can you believe it? A return customer. Hey Rosie.
How's it going?
Pretty well, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm in a rush.
Hey, do your thing.
I'll see you in a little bit.
I'll see you around.
Coming back the other way.
Yeah, take care. I figure it's a good opportunity just to hang out at just a couple of places so you can get recognized and just be that continual dripping. Another NASA shirt coming up. Another NASA shirt. Hey, what if the moon illuminated its own light?
What if?
Yeah, what if?
I don't know.
Have you ever looked into that idea? Yeah, read Genesis 1. Take care. NASA shirts. People wear NASA shirts like it's some rock concert they went to. Like, I just need a memory. Even at rock concerts, you're lied to. Most likely, they're not really singing. They're lip syncing. Auto-tuned. Probably not even playing the music. And any music that they do play is all electronic. No actual bass, guitar, drums. So rock concerts, I guess, are kind of like NASA nowadays. Have some interesting clouds today. Those are, in my opinion, clouds that are in a frequency environment. There's your sun, as you can see through the frequencied clouds. Got some over there. Very hazy. It is the warmest it's been since last Tuesday. Otherwise, it has always been raining or cloudy or 50 degrees. It has given us that feeling. It's September.
What you got?
I was just hanging out talking about the Earth being a non-rotating flat level plane.
I want to see what you got.
Yeah, sure thing, man. I got a YouTube.
Is that a CD?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get one.
Some kind of like a mixtape. You want to make kind of like a mixtape?
Does this work on Nintendo Switches? Like if I put it in?
Yeah, right. I don't think it would work that way. I would suggest maybe using like a PC or something like that. Maybe a DVD player.
Your mom still has that PC. Wait, the one from last year? What is?
They're all files. You should be able to put in a DVD player.
Okay.
You know, DVD player. A newer DVD player should be able to play files. You ever cross your mind that the Earth isn't a ball in outer space? And that you might be misled? A little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, like, because gravity's 9.8. I mean,
Negative.
9.8 what?
Negative 9.8 meters per second squared.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so,
Yeah, so that proves a ball somehow? How does
yeah,
that?
it does.
How?
That's what I was told.
Get the acceleration
Remember what
down. and then-
Professor Johnson told us about it?
Dude, but
Is he like a pastor of yours or something?
Yeah. He's like our father and physics teacher.
Oh, okay, yeah, so kind of like a prophet.
Yeah.
Okay, sure enough, fair
We
enough.
look up to him a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I would think that you probably would. You know.
Yeah.
And so.
Dark Days in 07.
Yeah. Is there anything like? Do you guys ever take any like serious things that are serious like into consideration, or you just joke about things and kind of ham it up with people who are trying to present serious things?
Yeah, usually there's just a little more joke it up.
Yeah. You didn't. Okay. Well, that's too bad. I mean, I used to be where you're at too. But I would just suggest maybe looking into, you know, your idea of gravity and how it's still a theory,
Right.
and it doesn't prove anything. It's a ball.
Right.
How high do you have to be to see Earth from space? Do you happen to know?
You mean like, what do you mean high?
Yeah, you're probably not ready, man.
Or what?
You're probably not ready.
What's that?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna respond like that, like you got to take psychedelics to see the Earth from a certain height.
Is that not
I mean,
what
I'm not.
you're saying?
You know. Hey, what's up? Okay. Can I rephrase the question? Because it seems like I got to be a little bit more intentional with you.
Yeah.
Possibly. At what altitude
Oh.
do you have to be to see the Earth spin in a 24-hour period?
Probably the moon.
Probably the moon?
Yeah.
How far is the moon away from the Earth? In miles.
37 million miles.
How far?
37 million miles.
No,
What is it?
not even close. Add a 2 in front of that.
Year?
227.
237 million miles. You might be a little closer with that number. Yeah. Have you ever been to the moon?
I don't think so.
Couldn't think of something funny to say there, could you?
Well, I mean, you said yes.
Yeah, well,
You already knew the answer to that question.
Yeah.
so since you haven't been to the moon, how do you know the moon is the location you need to be to see the Earth spin?
Well, that would just be like a guess.
Okay. Pretty
Like from the pictures.
pictures?
Yeah. You know, like NASA.
I'm not familiar with NASA. So like something like this, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So
you had to spin so you could see that side.
but these are both America, right? Allegedly. But they're
Well,
two
that's
different.
Mexico.
They're two different sizes.
Okay.
Okay. So why is
Because
these
Earth's
are?
tilted
It's tilted.
23.5 degrees, so you can
Okay,
see this
23.4 degrees. We gotta be specific. It's maths, right? So we can't deviate a point or anything like
one.
that.
It does deviate.
So you gotta-
between 19 and 26.
No,
It changes.
it's 23.4 degrees
It's 23.5
always.
degrees.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, that's literally what I learned today in biogeography.
Okay,
But,
so
okay.
it's 23.4
Right.
degrees.
So
Okay.
here it is from one angle, and since it's tilted, you're going to be able to see it from a different angle. So in perspective, you can see that would be larger.
Okay,
than
so
that one,
so
depending on the angle that you're looking at it from.
he's claiming that both of these are the same size. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it depends on your perspective, on where you are. So where you're taking the photo from, because that's obviously from a lower angle, depending on where you are, compared to that one. Or they're from different distances.
So whatever you need to do to explain this away is how you can sleep at night? Because these are two different sizes of America. Literally two different sizes. And they're also composites, and they're not real photographs. You do know that too, right? Did they teach you that today?
It tells America grows, and that's why those photos.
Yeah.
So like America had too much Thanksgiving dinner one year or what?
Not exactly.
I'm kind of inferring a lot.
No, I'm just
But-
showing evidence
Did you go to school here?
that both of these images are different.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so this America is bigger than that one. And there's
Yes.
also 6 other images that NASA has taken allegedly of Earth from space,
Yeah.
and they're all different too.
Okay.
So, and they also admit that they're composites, so they're not actually like photographs that you would take with your phone, and then without editing it, you could, send them as genuine photographs.
Mm-hmm.
These are composites. Do you know what a composite is?
A composite image?
Yeah. Okay, so it's a stitching of other photos together
like
to create a full image.
Okay.
Okay. So what if what they were doing is they were just scanning a flat plane, possibly infinite, and they were just putting it onto a sphere ball and telling you that that's where you live?
Well, why would they do that?
I'm just giving you evidence of what they could do. So why did your mom lie to you about Santa Claus, bud? So why? Probably tarried along a little bit further than I should have with them. But you got to give these children a chance. In their mind, they are like children. They look like adults. They look like they are here to learn, be educated. So they're on that, like, you know, type of frequency, I guess you could say. But the pride and the ego, most of the time, is too much for them to contain, and it has to come out because their school will never lie to them about anything that they're being told here. As he said, he was told this about the earth. It's really, this is no different than a seminary school. If you regurgitate everything that this building and establishment promotes, and you do not look into it any further, and you just remember the lectures and then regurgitate them on tests, you are no different than a follower of a religion or a cult. Most of these people here do not have independent thought. I said most. I do. Yeah, I actually do. No, it's not bull. I said most. So doesn't that mean that you could be in the side that's not most? No. You're an angry lady, aren't you? No. You just... Did you see the moon landing on the radio? Where's the crater from the lunar lander on the moon? See, like this lady, I mean, you gave a perfect example of why you're closed-minded. So their inability to think for themselves becomes a prison here, and they don't even realize it. Like, they don't realize it. I didn't realize it when I was 20 years old. Oh, to be, yeah, you want to do it, social distortion? Come on, bud. Come on, Star Trek isn't real. Star Wars is fake. I thought that would trigger him. So he almost couldn't help himself to come over and be an apologetic for his seminary school here. Another NASA shirt across the way. Yeah, it is kind of funny. You don't give these people an answer of why the lie. And then they walk around like, well, you're not going to give me all the answers. So, like my school does. My school gives me all the answers. My teacher will give me 2 correct answers if I beg. You allow them some brevity to think on their own and they just lose it. They fall apart. They fall apart like a house of cards. He shakes his head. He's afraid to talk. The why the lie. Formulate your own opinion about why the lie. I can give you 3. They're hiding land. Okay. Money. They get a lot of money a day. Get a lot of money from all the memorabilia that people are walking around wearing too. Don't forget about that. And in my opinion, the ultimate is the fake alien invasion. They have to introduce a world leader that everyone will love. Everyone does not love someone who disagrees with a person's lifestyle. So if you disagree with a person's lifestyle, you do not have love. So particularly here in America, I can only speak for America, we are being escorted, chauffeured, if you will, into a line of thinking that we're supposed to just accept every lifestyle and different ways that we do not procreate, that we have genocide and eugenics. And if you disagree with any avenues that promote such ideas, you're hateful, you're non-progressive, and you do not have any love of any kind, in their opinion. The whole hiding God thing is kind of something that I haven't felt really comfortable to share all the time, even though I get flamed in the comment section about the hiding God idea. I had a fairly good understanding of who God is before I got into Flat Earth. Have I made mistakes? Have I gone off my path a little bit at times? Sure. That doesn't discredit God. That only points to my own personal failures and faults. Doesn't take anything away from who He's always true, always there, always withstanding and patient. So the whole hiding God thing, I get the argument. I certainly can comprehend where people are coming from with that, but outer space is fake. And once people can comprehend that scientifically, evolution is totally and utterly destroyed. And people are left with no other choice but to at least become agnostic. Most of your people who are in this establishment are atheists, promote atheistic ideas. Don't worry, I got you too. You're welcome. And so that's really what it's about. It's about helping people comprehend that we were created, that we're special. Just get them on that solid foundation first. And then we can go from there. But we have to promote procreation, having children. How this place is designed, there are roles that both sexes play, that adults and children partake in. And we cannot deviate from those roles. We cannot be led astray from what a man's role is and what a woman's role is and what these people should be wearing and how they should look. These are not things that are up for debate. We need to stand firm, put our feet on the ground like concrete, and say no. The use of proper pronouns do not have a place here, anyways, with me. And I encourage everyone to use their own discernment. And depending upon the situation, don't buckle. Don't bend. We must stand firm against these ideas that promote eugenics and the inability to have children. I've said it before that they will make vaginal birth illegal. It will not be anything that is promoted in the future. You know, it's not anything that anybody should even have thought of, but that's what this place does. It's evil. You are its enemy, the human. And our silence is our consent. We must not be silent about these things. flat Earth has only been popularized in the last 4 years or so. So we do not have anyone in these upper echelon stories, these high sky rises, to make decisions where science funding goes to so that we can make proper scientific observations to show whether water lays level and flat over hundreds of distances. But if you have not seen Jay Tolan's videos regarding infrared video over hundreds and hundreds of miles from an airplane, I encourage you to check those videos out. Just something to look at, you know, something to consider. That there should be obvious, significant curvature at a distance using infrared, and there just isn't. It continues to go on for miles and miles and miles, just like the song says. When you do this enough, you start to see people walk by and they have like their eyes trying to look to the corner, and they want to look at you, but they don't want to look. And they have just like that kind of that look. It's that feeling. You just let them walk by. You don't have to say anything. They know. I know. So kind of back to my point is we need to get more flat earthers in the school system to start voting down these projects regarding outer space. Stop promoting fantasy. Stop promoting lies and wasting these people's time learning about absolute fantasy, absolute and utter ridiculousness. Narnia stuff, Harry Potter garbage. Although, you know, witchcraft and spellcasting is definitely plays a part in all this, but it would be great to see where this is all at in 5 years, for sure, if we make it that long. If there's enough flat earthers out there to try to make a difference collectively in public school to change things, or we remove our children altogether until there is a complete and utter reformation to public schooling. Like that girl in the black shirt, she's biting her lip because she's laughing. Science is her god. And this is her church. Welcome everybody to the University of Minnesota. Not really a whole lot different than the state-run universities in a city near you. This guy wanted to take his phone out and take a picture of me, and then I caught him, and then he put his phone away. you know, just politely ask. But it's, you know, you're kind of insulting by taking a picture and making it seem to be something that it's really not. You're claiming that I am abnormal compared to all this, compared to the line of thinking in the liberal arts school that's going on here, and the ideologies that are pushed here, the anti-human, anti-white male that's going on here. But I'm abnormal. What do you want it to be? You want some free water?
Just give me your elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
What's the spiel?
Yeah, water lays level and flat when contained.
Okay.
Is that something we could agree with?
Okay.
Could we agree with that?
Sure.
Okay, so like a lake is contained by shorelines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how, if the oceans are also contained by shorelines, at what point do they start to bend and make a ball in outer space?
Right. What? Okay. Why would we be taught that it's round? What's the implication of it being flat? Like, why does it matter? What's the?
Why does anything matter, right?
I suppose, right?
Okay, but you're human.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
All of these people here are all human beings. If we're told that we live somewhere that we don't, and you go to school and you just regurgitate stuff and you don't really like look into and find out where these ideas came from, you're just regurgitating and you're not really learning. You're just like reteaching things that aren't true. Kind of like tradition or like storytelling and whatnot. So could that be something that maybe like creation is different than what we're taught about evolution?
I could see
And
that.
so that, you know,
See that.
so what if we have a creator that's literally like right above us, because there's a ceiling above us? And what if the earth goes on infinitely forever horizontally like a table that just never ends?
Yeah.
Because water lays level and flat, we just agree with that. So then at what point does it start to bend to make curvature into a ball that you've never seen before?
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of just it. You know, I got a YouTube channel. Maybe, you know, sometime you can come by and check it out. It's at the bottom there.
Have you done this other years?
I have, yeah.
Okay, because one year somebody gave me a CD on this, and I lost the CD, and I was really sad.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Was
I
it
can.
you, possibly?
Could have been, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Take care. Have that, and then maybe I'll see you around.
All right, I appreciate
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye. That's all it takes. No need to be intimidated. You have the winning hand every single time. You know, I used to play Texas Hold'em in person. Totally different game when you do Texas Hold'em face to face. Totally different sport than playing it online or on your phone app or whatever. Some people think, you know, always holding pocket aces, you know, always holding a pair, you know. Oh, if I got two tens or I got two kings, you know, I'm going to go all in. I feel pretty confident about having this pair of aces. But a pair of aces doesn't always win. With Flat Earth, you have the perfect hand every single time. Whether it be a 7-2, whether you're given a 6-10, a queen-3, you know, all the different combinations that you can think of that most professional poker players who play Texas Hold'em heads up would fold on. You have the winning hand every single time. And if you're humble and you just, you know, allow them some brevity to breathe a little bit, and, you know, if they have something to say, let them just express it. Let them just exhaust whatever it is that they got to say. Because you'll have your opportunity to talk and share, but you need to do it, you know? Be a doer of what you've heard and what you've read regarding this topic. Be a doer. Express it. Don't hold it. Don't bury it in your backyard and feel like, oh, now I got one up on all these people. You know the best time to share, to talk about this. If they're wearing a NASA shirt, I mean, it's, you know, gloves are off, right?
Yeah, it's not.
But
I'm confident.
use your own discernment.
Tonight I'll work on it.
Decide whether it's a good time to share. You know, if you're going to keep going to the grocery store 2, 3, 4 times a week, you know, maybe it's not right to share flat Earth right away with the cashier. Maybe just try to, you know, ham it up with them a little bit. Let them get to know you a little bit. If you plan on going to that grocery store all the time, and then hit them in the mouth, you know. Well, these people. Yeah, they can read. You don't even need to say anything. They can read. They are all deciding right now. They're all deciding right now. How you guys doing? Would you like a water?
I'm alright.
Hey, right on, man. Take care. They all decided when they saw the sign, Earth is flat. How you doing? Would you like a water?
Yeah, why is it fake?
Why is what fake?
Outer space. Why is it fake?
Why is it real? Have you ever been to outer space?
No, but we see science videos and we see people go outer space.
Okay, so that makes it real? Did you know that there's a big giant lizard over in Japan right now? His name is Godzilla. Yeah, I saw that on TV too. Does that make that real too?
Well, I'm a science student, so
You're a science student.
yeah.
Okay.
We believe in space, we believe in the planet.
You keep saying believe. So like it's a
Because I've
faith.
been there, so I can't say I've seen it.
Okay, what is space? Is space a high or low pressure system?
I want to be a doctor, not a science.
Yeah, but I'm asking you as a human being. Can you relate to me as a human being?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is space? Is space a high or low pressure system?
I would say a low pressure.
Okay, so then Earth, our atmosphere that we breathe, would be a high pressure system. Okay, it's the opposite of whatever outer space is. Okay,
Yeah.
so at what point will outer space, which is surrounding your ball Earth that you believe in, right, this right here, at what point will outer space turn into equilibrium with our atmosphere?
That's a question I can answer, but
Why not?
what I want to ask you also, before I answer your question.
Okay,
how do
why
you know
that doesn't make any sense. You're going to ask me a question, but you're going to obfuscate my question. You know what equilibrium is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have a pop can, and you don't pop the top, it's a high pressure system in there, right? You can squeeze it, but you can't get any of the liquid out until you pop the tab, right?
Sure.
Okay, and then our air that we breathe rushes into the can, and then the can is then at equilibrium with the outside air, is it not?
It is.
Okay, so at what point, again, you see your ball Earth that you believe you live on, how come outer space hasn't sucked up and become at equilibrium with our atmosphere?
So do you believe in this picture?
I'm going to ask you one more time, okay? Here's a pamphlet for you so you can see yourself on YouTube being difficult, okay? These are official NASA images, okay? Why hasn't outer space become at equilibrium with our atmosphere? Or how come Earth's atmosphere hasn't become at equilibrium with outer space?
So I can't answer that, but
Okay.
I got a question.
So then let me bring you to this point then. Then we can agree that just like the water being contained in this bottle, there needs to be a solid barrier. There needs to be a solid barrier between our atmosphere and outer space that we cannot penetrate through. There's no gradient, there's no Van Allen belt or radiation belt or anything like that. There's a solid barrier above us to keep outer space and us separate. Is that something we could agree with then? Since you want to answer my question.
Yeah, I can't answer the question I have.
Okay, well you should be able to defend the faith that you have in the place that you believe you live on. But you can't defend your religious beliefs that you live here. It is, you keep saying believe. I believe that their sun is 93 million miles away and such and such.
Because I read in a science book.
I read a lot of things. I read a lot of things in the Holy Bible and the Quran and all these other books too.
Science and the Bible are the same. There's no contradiction between both of them.
Science is not always correct, is it not?
Science is always correct.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's absolutely, that's absolutely garbage. Hold on a second. You just stepped in, okay? I'm talking to this guy, okay? So is that what you do? Is you just come in and barge in and interrupt people, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So let me.
Organized bodies of knowledge.
No.
So it uses the scientific method.
No, they
To
don't.
make it correct. It doesn't do something.
No, they don't. However, how has any other country landed man on the moon to verify that we can land men on the moon, other than the United States?
No.
Nobody has. Nobody's used the scientific method to do
Gone
that.
to space, but
Nobody has.
Russia went to space.
No, they
got that
didn't.
ring.
No, they
the
didn't.
first individual to go to space.
They didn't.
He did. If you say USA landed on the moon, the Russian went to space. They were the first.
They went to low Earth orbit.
They went to space.
Low Earth orbit.
Okay. That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
That's
in
not
the
outer
science
space,
book.
though.
Okay.
You saw in a science book. That doesn't make it true. Okay?
So what you write
In the 50s, let's talk about, you want to talk about science? In the 50s, doctors promoted cigarette smoking as healthy. Did they not? Did doctors not promote cigarette smoking in the 50s? That's science.
He said yes. So.
They did. Okay, so if you want to use his answer, that's fine. They did. And then what happened?
Cigarette is not good.
And then cigarettes aren't good for you, okay? Okay, so could it be possibly, okay, that lobbyists enforce through the power of money and influence to get these doctors to say something that's not true and unethical?
That's another aspect. Like, it's unethical. You just say it doesn't mean it's fake or real. It's just unethical.
Okay, so you might be being misled about where you live then.
I have a question for you. So
Yeah, what's up, man?
The sun is 3,000 miles away.
Who said that?
I don't know. I just read it somewhere.
Okay, I didn't say that. You just got here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But explain to me how far away the sun is. I just want to know.
I don't know. You're not going to pigeonhole me into some debate about where the sun is or isn't. Can we talk about the Earth that we walk on?
Of course.
Okay. So, present your question or whatever it is that you feel led to talk about Earth.
So I was reading an online blog, and then they said that water always finds its level.
Okay.
And do you think that's true?
When it's contained, is that something that we could agree that water lays level when it's contained?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if there's just more shorelines and the oceans are being contained by more shorelines that you're unawares of? Because a lake has a shoreline that's containing all the water. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's why we call it a lake. It's a small body of water that we can observe, right?
Yeah.
So from one shoreline to another, when we know it's a lake, do you think in your mind that it's turning into a sphere because you can't see the other shoreline 100 miles away?
Yeah.
Come on, man. We just agreed that water lays level and flat when it's contained. So when you're looking over a lake...
When gravity points downwards, and gravity does not always point downwards relative to where you are, because it's a circle.
It's this.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Earth from this perspective before?
Yeah, in like a dream.
With your own eyes? Come on.
Yeah, in like
I'm not here to do anything. Otherwise, you're going to get this guy here, okay?
Is that a Pez?
You want a Pez?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, there you go. You got to pull it out there, bud. You got to pull it out there. Yeah. There you go. So he took a troll Pez. So, you know gravity is still a theory, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That means it's fake, obviously.
No, I'm just saying that to people that are unawares of how density and buoyancy work, they might think that gravity is the best we've come up with. But if you don't explore other options and thought life, you're just going to kind of go along with the crowd and not really understand that there could be more to it than just this idea of gravity. And considering you've never seen the Earth from this perspective in outer space before, you don't know where you live, man.
Where do you think we live, sir?
I don't know. I don't want to sound too new agey or anything, but maybe some kind of a realm, you know?
Like in Minecraft?
Well, Minecraft is still a level plane. You know, it's got mountains and it's got, you know, valleys and stuff.
Minecraft has a thing called realms now, so is that like kind of where you think you live? Or?
Have you ever played No Man's Sky or heard about it before?
Yeah, but
Okay.
that one has sphere worlds.
Well, what I'm trying to say, convey about like No Man's Sky and Minecraft, for example, is we are co-creators in this environment, and as we continue to move forward, we see things in front of us. Now, is that us manifesting those, or were those things already there for us to discover them? I feel like if we continue to travel south, which would be away from the North Pole in this idea or this projection, I don't have the money or resources to do that. Do you?
I don't know, probably. Probably
Okay.
get like a seafaring voyage together.
Like $1 billion?
It doesn't cost $1 billion. Like,
Well, you need an icebreaker ship. Do you happen to know how much an icebreaker ship is?
probably like
$500 million.
You could probably rent one. I know a guy that rents ships.
An icebreaker ship?
I mean, this is Minnesota. There's a lot of ice in the lakes.
Okay, I'm talking about a glacial icebreaker ship that we would have to use to break through all of the ice from the alleged ice wall and stuff like that.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I don't think that the ice wall is anything that is real, because I've never seen it before. And if there is ice, I think that that ice is hiding more land underneath it, so we should burn it or chop it down.
But then wouldn't that be radically affecting that? Who are we to impose our will on nature?
Because we were put here to impose our will on this place.
Or are we nature?
We're part of it, and we should use our discernment on whether or not we should do that. But if you believe that you live here in outer space on a ball of which you see images of, but you've never seen this vantage point with your own eyes, why is it that you commit and defend this idea?
I'm not defending that idea at all.
Okay.
I'm completely open-minded right now.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I got a YouTube channel. Maybe, you could come by and check it out. It's on the bottom there, Authentic Intent.
No, I'm good.
So you're open-minded, but you're not willing to check out a YouTube channel that can share alternative viewpoints. I don't understand.
I don't know. I just don't really like YouTube. I don't like Google. Because what Google does, have you ever heard about what Google does?
So you're going to give me a conspiracy? Okay.
No. What they do
What they do,
is they
these are facts.
latch on to people like that, and then they take all their data, and then use that data for malicious purposes.
Okay.
Like, for example, for this ice thing here, the wall
Okay.
of ice around.
Yeah.
They're probably.
I've never
putting
seen the
more
ice wall before.
They're probably putting more ice in it using that fake data that they're getting from you guys.
Okay, now you're definitely trolling, and you haven't eaten the Pez yet. So,
Eat this Pez. I don't like Pez.
Okay.
They're not sweet.
well, you shouldn't have asked me for something that you're just going to throw away. Is that very resourceful?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay, so you're being very hypocritical during this conversation,
Okay.
and I don't think that this is going to get anywhere. So, have a nice afternoon.
You too, sir.
Take care. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Oh, what's the theory?
I got this information here. Maybe you can, check it out sometime. I have other videos and information, but is it something that we could maybe agree on, that like water lays level and flat when it's contained, like a shoreline or a cup or a pool?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if the oceans also were contained by shorelines? What if the oceans were contained by shorelines you were unaware of?
Yeah, possible.
Possible, right?
Yeah.
And so what if that would make the Earth go on horizontally?
Yeah.
And a measured idea that to have curvature, we just continue to see further and further, and we don't experience any type of curvature over a body of water.
So, if you look right here though, water's kind of all around the edge, so if it's flattened out, what happens if it's at the edge of here?
Okay, this is an image of the globe, Earth, that people believe they live on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you understand that they teach us that gravity is holding the water here, right?
Yeah.
You do know that, right? Okay, so with a projection of a flat Earth, what if the water just continues to go out and there is no edge? Who told you that there was an edge?
You said it's flattened out, so I kind of just assumed it wasn't connected. Because Earth doesn't really keep going. We know what we know about where stuff is.
Who's we? Okay, but you're told. Did you get an email saying like this is how far the Earth can go and
No.
whatever? You're just making assumptions?
Based on science, yeah.
Okay, so, but what if they used education and turned it into a ball? Because can a ball have an edge?
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, it has this part where it's not really.
But if we're walking on the ground, do we would we experience an edge?
No.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, right?
Right.
So what if we were here flat on the ground like we are right now, and we just continued to go the opposite of north, which is south,
Right.
and we just continue to go on and continue to go on, and what if right here, you see where this water is,
Yeah.
allegedly, what if there's a whole continent right here that you're unaware of? Because they just make this, even if you look on a globe,
Right.
there's places where there's just all water,
Right.
right? But we know if you were to look and actually investigate, even the Cook Islands have 5,000 to 10,000 islands that we don't know about. You know, so just something to explore that, you know, what if Earth goes on infinitely forever and it's not contained?
But what about, so in round Earth theory, you're kind of just, you're walking around and you never really hit an edge because you keep going.
Yeah.
But eventually, what happens if there is an end to Earth?
Okay, so
Kind of doesn't make sense.
what would we use to do that? What instrument would we use to help us navigate? A compass. What does a compass always do?
Tells you the direction.
It does, but it always points north.
Yeah.
Okay, so if north is here, okay, and there's a magnetic relationship with a compass, and we're right here, and we keep doing this, will not our compass continue to point north, but we're also going in an easterly or western fashion?
I don't really know how compasses work that well, so I can't.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that out. But if we were, because all the four of us can do is we can get on a plane. Most likely it will be a commercial airline because we don't have, and none of us have a private plane. So we'll just go from airport to airport to airport to airport to airport. And that's really no different than taking a ship on the water and going like this, using a compass that points north, and you're going west, 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 and then you just come back to where you started. So that's circumnavigation on a flat plane.
Yeah, possible.
So it's just something to think about, that just because you go in a circle like this doesn't make where you think you live a globe.
That's true.
So how have you been able to verify that outer space is an actual environment that human beings can explore? You haven't?
No, never been out there.
Okay. If outer space, let's just say for argument's sake, it's a high pressure system and Earth is a low pressure system, how is it that two different gas atmospheres can exist next to each other without a solid barrier? Has that ever crossed your mind before?
No.
Do you drink like soda pop every once in a while? Kombucha? No? Anything like that? But you're familiar with what a soda can is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that Earth is a soda can, okay, and we were trying to get out of the soda can. What would we have to do?
Go up.
But we can't because there's a solid barrier. So how would we get out of the soda pop? We're inside the can.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we have to open the tab to get out? Okay, so where in the sky is that tab for us to get out into outer space? Because what happens, are you familiar with like what entropy is and whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a hot cup of coffee and you allow it to sit at room temperature, you can see that it will become cold at room temperature and be at equilibrium with the surrounding temperature over like an hour, right? Fair enough. Now, if you want to make sure that it doesn't lose its heat, you could put it on something that will continue its heat, so you'll have to use another set of energy to make that cup of coffee hot, or else you would have to wrap it in something like, you know, styrofoam or, you know, bubble wrap or, you know, wax paper or something like that, right? Aluminum foil. And so it would probably prolong its heat, you know, a couple of hours, but it would still at some point become at equilibrium with it, right? Okay, so my point is that our atmosphere at some point has to become at equilibrium with outer space and vice versa, does it not? But that has never happened. And so what I get from a lot of people is that, you know, there's a gradient between us and outer space somehow that we're able to go through. But by even using those laws that science claims is completely impossible without a solid barrier.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question if outer space is real or fake and how we verified that.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah, I mean, just things that you only think about and whatnot. And so, I mean, a lot of people would probably call themselves like globe denialists. you know, like, because flat Earth for some people is kind of a bit offensive, you know, but some people call, you know, themselves globe deniers, but I like the F word. So, you know, that's kind of all I got. I just hang out here and just, you know, share an opinion and challenge people's thought. Because a lot of people haven't verified their beliefs and where they live regarding outer space and Earth and stuff themselves. They take a lot of science at their word. And in my opinion, that's a lot like going to a seminary school and believing in whatever's being taught there. Yeah. You know, so a lot of faith is going on. Yeah. So I appreciate you stopping. I mean, unless you have something else to say.
No, I guess outside of flat Earth, are you like a student here?
No, yeah, just come here and hang out. I feel like this is a pretty good prime location to just challenge students. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
What do you do outside of this?
Right now I walk dogs.
Ah, that's
yeah.
so exciting.
Yeah, it is fun. I like. Yeah, I really like it. Yeah.
Best dog you ever walked?
I walked. Well, I've walked a lot of dogs. There's this one dog that I walk right now, and this kind of sounds like a bit morbid, but it just happened on Friday, so I gotta share the story. She's a black lab, and she is from like an abusive home, so she was in a shelter, and these people took her in, and so that's basically their child now. And she's always on the prowl every time she goes out and walking around for squirrels. Like she's always like trying to, you know, look at squirrels. Well, one squirrel got within the 16-foot leash and gobbled it up. And yeah, and so it was interesting to post. I posted the video on Facebook, and some people were saying, why didn't you get in between it and stop? You know, I'm like, but that's the wild. Like, not going to get involved in between two animals that, you know, one squirrel should know better. And if people believe this idea of evolution and whatnot, then that's just one dumb squirrel that's going to run in front of a dog and not procreate, right? Yeah, so natural selection, right? So, and that's who, you know, flamed me about it for posting the video, that I didn't step in between it. And I'm like, well, that's natural selection. So what are you getting angry at me for? So, yeah, so, yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah.
You can have this Bible if you want. It's not my beliefs at all, I'm Jewish, but if you want it.
Oh, well, don't forget that, though. But you do read the Old Testament, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with what, in Genesis 1, it actually talks about a firmament?
Yeah, I've never actually read all the way through it.
Well, it's something to think about, you know, because in Genesis 1, it also talks about how there's a greater light created for the day and a lesser light created for the night. So what, in some people's interpretations, that means is that the sun illuminates its own light and the moon illuminates its own light.
That's pretty cool.
You know, something to think about.
Yeah. If you want, you can have it.
I got plenty of Bibles.
All right, cool.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye. Pretty well, thanks. How about yourself?
It's been a pleasure to see you back.
Yeah, you too. Would you like a water?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Have at it.
Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. You too. Of course you can.
Oh,
yeah. No worries. Take care.